Hi, 5th graders. Hope you had a wonderful week. Today we are going to learn about the saints of the Kerala Church. Saint Father Chavara Kuriakose Elias. He was an Indian Catholic priest and social reformer. He is the first canonized Catholic male saint of Indian origin and belongs to the Syro-Malankara Catholic Church, an Eastern Catholic church based in the state of Kerala. His feast day is observed on January 3rd. Elias was born on 10th February 1805 as the son of the spouses Kuriakose and Mariam in the family of Chavara in the village Kainakuri at the district of Alleppey. He learned many languages even before he joined the seminary. Elias received the order of priesthood in November 1829. He is considered as a retreat preacher. He gave leadership to the establishment leader of the CMI religious congregation at Mananam in 1833. He started schools to educate people in reading and writing. He promoted the dedication of the family of Sacred Heart of Jesus and the 40-hour devotion. Prayer, meditation, and penance made him a man of God. Father Chavara passed away at Kundamavu on 3rd January 1871. Miracles continue to take place on account of the intercession of Father Chavara. He was beatified along with Venerable Sister Alfonsa at Kottayam on 8 February 1986 by Pope John Paul II during his apostolic pilgrimage to India. Blessed is a term that is used before they reach sainthood. On 23 November 2014, he was canonized at St. Peter's Square by Pope Francis along with Euphrasia Elevatingo. Saint Alfonsa was an Indian religious sister and educator. She was the first woman of Indian origin to be canonized as a saint by the Catholic Church, and the first canonized saint of the Syro-Malankara Church, an Eastern Catholic church based in Kerala. Her feast day is observed on July 28th. Alfonsa was born at Kudamalur near Kottayam in the family of Muttathappadathu as the daughter of Joseph and Mary on 19th August 1910. Her mother died when she was 3 months old. Her father and grandmother fondly brought up the child who has lost her mother. She was baptized at the Kudamalur Church on 26th August and was named Annakutti. Alfonso desired to become a religious for the love of Jesus after her school education. Her parents wanted her to get married. She was beautiful and had many marriage proposals. She still really wanted to join the religious sisterhood and had to undergo many torments on that account. Alfonsa, who earnestly desired to become the spouse of the Lord at a very early age, was prepared to undergo any sacrifice for that. She finally joined the Clarist convent and then became really sick afterwards. A good part of the religious life was filled with sufferings, physical and mental. Saint Theresa was a great inspiration. She practiced humility, love, compassion, and devotion to God. She died at the age of 36 on July 18, 1946. Venerable Sister Alfonsa was beatified along with Father Kuriakose Elias Chavara at Kottayam on 8 February 1986 by Pope John Paul II during his apostolic pilgrimage to India. On Sunday, 12th October 2008, Pope Benedict XVI announced her canonization at a ceremony at St. Peter's Square. Saint Mariam Theresa. Mariam Theresa was born at Puttanchere, Thrissur, in the family of Chiramil as the daughter of Thomas and Thunda on 26 April 1876. Mariam Theresa was devoted to God at a very young age. She lacked basic education but loved to read and write. She founded the House of Prayer at the age of 37. She started religious congregation of Holy Family on May 14, 1914. She adopted service of family as the chief duty in her life. She showed special enthusiasm to spread the spirit of the Holy Family in every house. Theresa was heavily involved in apostolic work with poor families during her late 20s. She helped the poor, nursed the sick, visited and comforted the lonely people of her parish. Theresa received several different spiritual experiences like prophecy, healing, aura of light, and sweet odor. She also had frequent ecstasies and levitations. On Fridays, people would gather around to witness Saint Mariam Theresa lifted high and hanging in the form of a crucifix on her bedroom wall. She also bore a stigmata similar to Saint Padre Pio's, but she kept it hidden from the public. She passed away on 8th June 1926 after leading a life pleasing to God. Her final words were, "Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, I give you my heart and my soul." Saint Mariam Theresa was beatified by Pope John Paul II on 9th April 2000, the year of the Great Jubilee. She was canonized by Pope Francis on October 13, 2019. She is the patron saint of the Congregation of the Holy Family. Her feast day is celebrated on June 8. Saint Euphrasia Elvathingel. Marthe Euphrasia Elvathingel, also called Saint Euphrasia Elvathingel, baptized as Rosa Elvathingel. She was born as a daughter of Anthony and Kunyati of Elvathingel on 17 October 1877. Her mother's deep piety and great devotion to the Virgin Mary, the Mother of God, had a strong influence on little Rose from her childhood. From the stories that her mother told her, especially about Saint Rose of Lima, she grew with a strong desire to practice the virtues, to suffer for Jesus and to be holy, and to do all this in a quiet, hidden manner. During her developing years, Rose began to detach herself from earthly possessions and pleasure and took a great interest in spiritual matters. This was all the more rooted in her at the age of 9 by means of apparition of the Blessed Mother, after which the young girl offered herself totally to the Lord. She wanted to become a religious sister, but she faced strong opposition from her father, who wanted Rose to marry into a rich family. Her intense prayer life, fasting, and abstinence, as well as the rather sudden death of her younger sister, brought about a change of heart in her father, Anthony, who granted Rose permission to enter the convent. Although Sister Euphrasia wanted to live a hidden life, she was chosen as superior of the convent of St. Mary of Olor, Due to her profound humility, she found it difficult to accept this new duty. The local people called her Praying Mother, and her sisters in community referred to her as the Mobile Tabernacle, because the divine presence she kept within her radiated to all she encountered. She prayed ardently before the Blessed Sacrament for the Holy Father, for bishops, priests, and religious. Mother Euphrasia offered her life in sacrifice for love of God. She abandoned herself to His will and finally joined Him in the heavenly embrace with her holy death on 29th August 1952. She was beatified on 3rd December 2006 with the declaration of the Major Archbishop Eparchy on behalf of Pope Benedict XVI. On 23rd November 2014, she was canonized at St. Peter's Square by Pope Francis along with alias Chavara. Saint Elizabeth Ann Seton. Elizabeth Ann Bailey was born in New York City on August 28, 1774, to a prominent Episcopal family, and lost her mother at the age of 3. Reared a staunch Episcopalian, she learned the value of prayer, scripture, and a nightly examination of conscience. Her father, Dr. Richard Bailey, did not have much use for churches, but was a great humanitarian, teaching his daughter to love and serve others. The early deaths of her mother in 1777 and her baby sister in 1778 gave Elizabeth a feel for eternity and the temporariness of the pilgrim life on earth. Far from being worrying, she faced each new Holocaust, as she put it, with hopeful cheerfulness. In 1794, at the age of 19, Elizabeth married William Magee Seton, a wealthy businessman with whom she had 5 children. William died of tuberculosis in 1803, leaving Elizabeth a young widow. After discovering Catholicism in Italy, where her husband had died, Elizabeth returned to the United States and entered the Catholic Church in 1805 in New York. 3 basic points led her to become a Catholic: belief in the real presence, devotion to the Blessed Mother, and conviction that the Catholic Church led back to the Apostles and to Christ. Many of her family and friends rejected her when she became a Catholic in March 1805. After a number of difficult years, Elizabeth moved in 1809 to Emmitsburg, Maryland, where she founded the Sisters of Charity of St. Joseph's, the first community for religious women established in the United States. She also began St. Joseph's Academy and Free School, planting the seeds of Catholic education in the United States. Her legacy now includes religious congregations in the United States and Canada whose members work on the unmet needs of people living in poverty in North America and beyond. Mother Seton, as she is often called, was canonized on Sunday, September 14, 1975, in St. Peter's Square by Pope Paul VI. She was the first citizen born in the United States to be given the title of saint. Her remains are entombed in Emmitsburg in the Basilica at the national shrine that bears her name. Saint Patrick. Saint Patrick was born in England in the 5th century. At the age of 16, he was captured by Irish pirates who took him to Ireland as a slave. He was held captive for 6 years, living a solitary, lonely life as a shepherd. It was then that he became a devout Christian, embracing his religion for solace. From his writing, we know that a voice, which he believed to be that of God, spoke to him in a dream, urging him to leave Ireland. Walking nearly 200 miles, Patrick escaped to Britain and undertook seriously religious training. After 15 years of study, Patrick was ordained as a priest and sent to Ireland. His mission was to minister to Christians and to convert the Irish, then predominantly pagans, to Christianity. Because Patrick was familiar with the Irish language and culture from his years of captivity, he chose to incorporate Irish ritual and symbols into his teachings rather than to eradicate Irish beliefs. Thus was born the Celtic cross. Patrick superimposed the sun, a powerful Irish symbol, onto the traditional Christian cross so that the results would seem more natural to the Irish. He used examples to explain the mysteries of the faith in simple ways. One day, St. Patrick compared the Trinity to a shamrock. He said that the shamrock has 3 leaves, but it is only one plant. In the same way, God is 3 persons, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, but one God. The first St. Patrick's Day parade was held in New York City on March 17, 1762. Irish Americans were not the first, however, to celebrate the feast of St. Patrick's. The history of St. Patrick's Day in America, however, began with the Irish soldiers serving in the British Army. The very first parade in New York City helped the homesick Irish soldiers connect with their roots through the familiar strains of traditional Irish music, usually featuring bagpipes and drums. It also helped them to connect with one another, finding strength in numbers. Life witness. A saint is a holy person who is known for his or her heroic sanctity, and who is taught to be in heaven. Let us imitate the good qualities shining forth in their lives. Memorize. If any want to become my followers, let them deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. Matthew 16:24. Questions. Write short notes on 1. Saint Father Chavara Kyriakos Elias. 2. Saint Alfonsa. 3. Saint Mariam Theresa. 4. Saint Euphrasia. Activity. Who is your patron saint? How will you imitate the qualities of your patron saint? Okay, my dear children, that is the end of our lessons, but be sure to follow what you learned.
Thank you, Mom. We love you and we love the stories.